Dr. Amarikia was very rude and asked a lot of really inappropriate questions and was just really not pleasant to see. It just made the whole experience completely uncomfortable. It was obvious his staff was uncomfortable. The entire thing was just not good. Um, and he really just didn't make any effort at all to try and make it more comfortable or to even, he didn't really seem to make any effort to make it any less painful or anything like that. Any of the tests he was doing, I had a cone biopsy and some other things. When that came back as a HSIL, which is a precancer, some kind of mid-grade precancer. They were going to schedule me for surgery, but then the insurance denied the coverage of surgery, and I found out that even though I had explicitly told them that my insurance would not cover a transgender hysterectomy as part of GRS, that they would only cover a medical hysterectomy, they went ahead and billed it as or coded it as a transgender hysterectomy as part of GRS, which my insurance denied. And then they tried to re-put it through as a regular hysterectomy, medical hysterectomy, which the insurance denied because of the way that they put it through the first time. They felt that it would be fraudulent or something like that, the way the doctor was doing it. And I confronted them about why they billed it that way when I found out that that's what happened. And he said, flat out, pretty much that's because they make more money on a transgender hysterectomy than they do on a medical hysterectomy. And I guess he needed to make a couple extra grand that day or something. So I wasn't going to be getting a hysterectomy at that time. When I asked, if there was anything else that any of them could do, Wilson or Amarikia, they said no, and it just became clear that they didn't know what they were doing. They weren't interested in helping me actually get better. They just wanted to basically keep taking my money. So I started looking for other doctors, and I went to see Dr. Edward Lichten, and he was great. His staff was great. When I went to see him, he did some levels and found that my testosterone was pretty level, but that my estrogen was still way too high and some other things were too high. So he put me on nandrolone. It was actually a mixed injection of nandrolone and stanozolol, which is a estrogen blocker. It reduces the binding hormone that allows estrogen to work, and it also had B12 in it. Nandrolone is a type of testosterone that doesn't convert to estrogen. It's a lot more expensive, and a lot of guys report having more feelings of depression while on it. I didn't really have that problem. I had a problem with, it gave me really bad cystic acne on my back, but I only had to be on it for a few months, and most of that has cleared up. I still get it occasionally, but it's really nothing like what it was. But the nandrolone really did the trick of shutting down my ovaries and everything. After a few months on that, my symptoms greatly reduced, and I was able to go back to testosterone at half a cc weekly. During the time that he switched me to nandrolone, he also gave me a progesterone treatment to induce a period, which was super fun. Yeah, I didn't like that at all, but it cleared me out a little and I felt better, but it's still, even though everything was greatly reduced and everything, I was still having symptoms and problems, and it was clear after a few months that even though they were better than what they had been, over time they would just get worse again. So he was going to schedule a hysterectomy. And when I scheduled a hysterectomy through him, he later had an accident where he injured his legs somehow and wasn't actually going to be able to stand for my surgery. So that happened one day literally before my surgery was supposed to be done. So that got canceled, which was pretty disheartening, but he referred me to his associate, Jay Berman, and Jay Berman was really awesome. The staff was really awesome. The hospital he uses was really awesome. The whole experience with them was just great, and I'm kind of glad that that happened, and Dr. Lichten ended up sending me to him, because even though Dr. Lichten and all of his staff and stuff was great, Jay Berman and his staff just gave me a great experience, and they did a whole bunch of tests and just did everything they could just to make sure that the insurance company couldn't deny coverage again. And all of the tests came back as being HGSL, which it progressed to a higher grade of precancer, or something like CIN3 or something like that, which I guess is the higher grade precancer. So it was really good that I ended up having the hysterectomy. They ended up doing a full abdominal hysterectomy as opposed to the laparoscopic, because with all the endometrial issues and things that I had been having, they were afraid that during the laparoscopic, when they have to cut up the uterus and everything during the laparoscopic and take it out in pieces. They were afraid that that would basically pollute my body cavity with endometrium. So they decided the full abdominal hysterectomy is the better way to go, so everything would stay in one piece. The hysterectomy went well. They ended up removing everything, the cervix, the ovaries and fallopian tubes and uterus, just completely everything. And shortly after the hysterectomy, I went down from half a cc weekly to 0.4 for a couple of weeks, and then I went down to 0.3. And so I've been at 0.3 for a while now, and I feel good. My scar is good. I'm feeling, really well. My levels are good. I have another checkup coming up to make sure everything, is healing up well, but I'm sure it is, because I feel pretty okay. So I just have to do one more checkup, and I should be done with that kind of junk for a good long time at least. So I think that's about it on that for now.